At 7, Governor Akeredolu leads rally as APC canvasses votes in Ondo North. Supreme Court affirms Ahmed Lawan as APC central candidate for Yobe North. Ondo State government restates zero tolerance for female genital mutilation. And from the foreign scene, more than 2,000 people die in Turkey and Syria earthquakes. Us on the news tonight. I am Jane. I know. Residents of Ondo State in the Northern Central District have been urged to vote for candidates of the All Progressives Congress APC at next month's general elections. Leader of the party and governor of the state, Oluwarotimi Akeredolu, at the party's campaign rally held at the Methodist Church open ground in Owo, said a vote for the ruling party is a vote for a better future. The governor, who expressed satisfaction at the large turnout of party loyalists and faithful, appealed to the electorate to be committed to the project of redefining governance in the state and Nigeria by voting en masse for APC. Government House correspondent Wahab Bankole reports that the rally was also used to receive the campees from opposition parties to the ruling party.
Àwọn PDP conservative àpò wọn náà máa ń kówó ìlú sí wọn ń ṣiṣẹ́ tá máa rí Tinubu ló wà l'Ábùjá ẹnu kan ní ẹgbẹ́ lọ́dún àpè pé ìkan báyìí làwọn èèyàn mi fẹ́ tó bá tẹ̀ ti sọ bẹ́ẹ̀ àṣẹ́kùn ẹ má jẹ́ àdìbò ọ̀tẹ̀ ẹ jẹ́ ká dìbò yìí from top to bottom tábà ti kúrò níbí lẹ́ni iṣẹ́ ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ bẹ̀rẹ̀ ká lọ sí unit wa á bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ṣiṣẹ́ lágbára Ọlọ́run á fún wa ṣe o.
Our south Tinubu á ṣe tó bá parí tiẹ̀ ó lè wá padà sí náà ṣẹ́gbẹ́ ọdún sọ ibi tó parí ìyẹn Nàìjíríà lẹ́nu ó yẹ kí ó pa á mọ̀ pé àwa ló kọ̀. Àtẹnumọ̀kúrọ̀ sálọ́pọ̀ sálọ́pọ̀ tó bá kọ̀ wọ́n ti náwó ní sókè. Àwa ó kà ó àwa ó kà ó àwa ó kà ó àwa ó kà ó lẹ́ẹ̀kan àwa ó kà á.
Still on election matters, the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, has urged the 18 registered political parties and candidates in the February 25 and March 11 presidential, National Assembly, governorship and States Assembly elections to be mindful of the fact that the world will be watching the democratic exercise. The Commission also charged them to adhere strictly to provisions of the Electoral Act 2022 guidelines and the peace accord they signed prior to their campaigns. The president of the commission, Omar Aliu Taure, said that this in Owerri during the fourth and final series of the Southeast South-South Zonal Training and Interactive Engagement with representatives of the Inter-Party Advisory Council, IPAC, as well as other stakeholders involved in the polls to ensure credible, free and fair general elections. Aliu said the regional body is committed to strategic support and intervention towards peaceful 2023 general elections in Nigeria, urging the cooperation of all towards its achievement. He affirmed that the Commission would sustain the partnership with stakeholders in that regard, advising that they should prevent conflicts and violence through inclusive opportunities, mediation and dialogue. The Supreme Court has affirmed Ahmed Lawan as the authentic candidate of Yobe North Central District in the February 25 election. In the lead judgment, Justice Santos Wednesday faulted the approach of Bashir Machina in commencing the suit at the Federal High Court, Damaturu Division, by way of originating summons and without oral evidence to prove allegations of fraud. The Apex Court also set aside the decision of the Appeal Court, Gombe Division, which affirmed the decision of the trial court that declared Machina the central candidate for Yobe North. But in a dissenting decision by Justice Emmanuel Ajim and Adamu Jaro, the Apex Court said Ahmed Lawan never participated in the APC primary held on 28 May, as he withdrew voluntarily to participate in presidential primary held on the 8th June 2022. The APC had challenged the nomination of Bashir Machina as the party's candidate for Yobe North Central District, saying he is the authentic central candidate for Yobe North for the forthcoming general election. Worried by the effect of the Central Bank of Nigeria's CBN's Naira redesign policy is having on the residents of their states, the governments of Kaduna, Kogi and Zamfara have dragged the federal government before the Supreme Court, seeking a restraining order to stop the full implementation of the policy. In a motion ex parte filed on their behalf by their lawyer, Abdul Hakim Uthman Mustafa, the three northern states are urging the Apex Court to grant them an interim injunction stopping the federal government either by itself or acting through the CBN, the commercial banks or its agents from carrying out its plan of ending the time frame within which the now older version of the 200, 500 and 1,000 denominations of the Naira may no longer be legal tender on February 10, 2023. The plaintiffs in the suit are the three Attorneys General and Commissioners of Justice of the three states, while the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Abubakar Malami, SAN, is the sole respondent. The plaintiffs said that since the announcement of the new Naira note policy, there has been an acute shortage in the supply of the new Naira notes in Kaduna, Kogi and Zamfara states, and that citizens who have dutifully deposited their old Naira notes have increasingly found it difficult and sometimes next to impossible to access new Naira notes to go about their daily activities. No date has been fixed for the hearing of the suits. Lawyers and judges in Imo State have commenced a 3-day strike over the killing of Naemeka Uboma, the magistrate in charge of Ejemekuru Customary Court in Oguta local government area of the state. In a bid to express their anger over the magistrate's killing, the 5 branches of Nigerian Bar Association in the state embarked on very industrial action. Neither the court at the State High Court nor the judges showed up at the premises, and as the premises became shadows of themselves. Members of the bar and bench in the state said the action will continue until they are sufficiently assured of the safety of the judiciary, the bar and litigants as requested. You're watching the news at 7. We'll take a quick break. When we return, we'll serve you more stories. Please stay with us. Welcome back from that break. Now to the rest of the bulletin. Ondo State Agency Against Gender-Based Violence has joined the rest of the globe to commemorate this year's International Day of Zero Tolerance for Female Genital Mutilation. The agency sensitized traditional birth attendants in the 18 local government areas of Ondo State as a way of creating awareness on the implications attached to female genital mutilation. Joy Pius reports that the theme of the 12th anniversary is partnership with men and boys to transform social and gender norms to end female genital mutilation.
Globally, it is estimated that over 2 million girls and women have undergone some forms of female genital mutilation, with 80% of these cases occurring in Africa. To put an end to these across the world, 6th of February every year was set aside by the United Nations to mark the International Day of Zero Tolerance for Female Genital Mutilation by creating awareness on the dangers inherent in female genital mutilation and the need to end it. In Ondo State, the Agency Against Gender-Based Violence, as a way of commemorating the day, engaged traditional birth attendants from the 18 local government areas of the state in order to raise awareness and reiterate the dangers attached to the act. The wife of Ondo State Governor, Mrs. Betty Ayanwa-Akredolu, represented by the Senior Special Assistant on Gender, Research and Documentation, Mrs. Temitope Daniyon, described female genital mutilation a harmful practice and a violation of women and girls' basic human rights.
I have admonished women, the traditional birth attendants that are here today, to avoid female genital mutilation. It's not wanted in Ondo State.
In her goodwill message, the Commissioner for Women Affairs and Social Development, Mrs. Juliana Oshadaun, represented by Mr. Tope Lebili, the Acting Permanent Secretary in the Ministry, urged the participants to adhere to every guidelines to end violence against the girl child.
They are the closest to the people at the grassroots. So we are sending them to the people at the grassroots, that they should tell everybody that female genital mutilation should be discouraged and they should not be involved in it.
Guest speaker from Justice Development Appeal Center, Austin Ogunleye, took participants on the dangers attached to the harmful practice.
All stakeholders, traditional leaders, religious leaders need to come up to stand against female genital, to enlighten our people, because we know that it's ignorant, to understand that not doing female genital mutilation, you are actually doing good for the girl child.
General Secretary of the Ondo State Agency Against Gender-Based Violence, Bolanle Afolabi, emphasized the implications of violating the VAP law in Ondo State.
Anyone who undertakes circumcision, female circumcision, will be convicted, and that person will go for 4 years imprisonment and also an option of fine, and it can also be true, both fine and imprisonment. So that's why we are telling that it's a serious matter, that they should not be involved in female genital mutilation, and they should also be change agents, so all people in their community.
Participants assured of their cooperation with the government to end the practice. The International Day of Zero Tolerance for Female Genital Mutilation is part of a combined effort by the United Nations to meet one of its Sustainable Development Goals, which aims at ending gender female genital mutilation and empowering all women and girls, with a target to eliminating harmful practices and raising the voices of women and girls. Joy Pius, OSRC News.
And away from that, Anglican Diocese of Akure has rolled out their activities to mark its 40th consecration and 10th anniversary of the inauguration of Bishop of the Diocese, now Archbishop of Ondo Province, the Most Reverend Simeon Borokini. Briefing newsmen in Akure, the Ondo State capital, Archbishop Borokini said the commemoration is to celebrate God's faithfulness of the two important landmarks in the diocese. Omoriola Obuji has details.
Agitation by members of Anglican Communion to have autonomy for Akure Diocese came to fruition on the 2nd of March 1983, making it 40 years in 2023. Reeling off the activities to mark the celebrations, Most Reverend Borokini hinted that eminent personalities would be at St. David's Cathedral on the 12th of February to unveil and launch the anniversary logo and statue. According to him, the 10th inauguration anniversary on the 24th will be celebrated with Holy Communion.
Under the leadership of Mama Province, Princess Christiana Eledunbi Borokini, there is a robust program for the women that covers every aspect of their lives, which includes empowerments for widows, trainings, conferences for the dead, child, monthly prayer meetings, prayer for young wives, anti-aged, medical outreaches, and many more.
Other activities as announced include Jesus Carnival between March 15 and 17, as well as Festival of Free Medical Outreach for all and sundry from the 20th to the 22nd of next month at Diocesan Medical Center, Araromi in Akure.
The diocese has also established a medical center that is functioning optimally, which government has approved. And one of the things that gladdens my mind, and which we are going to do this year too as we celebrate the 40th and consecration anniversary, is
22nd of next month at Diocesan Medical Center, Araromi in Akure.
The diocese has also established a medical center that is functioning optimally, which government has approved. And one of the things that gladdens my mind, and which we are going to do this year too as we celebrate the 40th and consecration anniversary, is surgery for medical outreach. It is not meant for Anglican members alone, so it is a way of reaching to the communities.
Earlier, chairman of the planning committee, Joseph Agbelusi, said the program would be rounded off with a Thanksgiving service on March 25.
God has given our father here this singular opportunity to be in charge of this diocese since 2013. His consecration will be exactly 10 years, February 24. And the inauguration of the diocese will be exactly 40 years on March 2nd, just 1 week interval. And that's why we want to commemorate these two events together jointly.
Right Reverend Bolande Bonigi was the first bishop of Akure Diocese, while Right Reverend Michael Ikpimoye took over after his retirement. Right Reverend Simeon Borokini, now Archbishop of Ondo Ecclesiastical Province, is the third bishop of the diocese. Omoriola Mbiji, Osrc News.
On a sad note now, President Muhammad Buhari has declared the murder of a number of Nigerian Muslim pilgrims in their way to Kaolack, Senegal, when the buses conveying them came under a gun attack in Burkina Faso. The president expressed condolences and prayed for the safety of other Nigerians stranded in that country. Buhari said federal government will make every effort to secure the remains of the deceased and the survivors of the attack. In the meantime, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, through the Nigerian Embassy in Burkina Faso, is engaging Burkinabe authorities and awaiting the outcome of their investigation of the incident to ensure that all culprits are appropriately sanctioned. Temilade Okpeniyi, popularly known as Tems, has bagged her first Grammy Award. Tems, who featured alongside Drake in Future's Wait For You, took home the 2023 award for Best Rap Melodic Performance. The song was also nominated for the Best Rap Song Award. Tems now joins 2021 winner Burna Boy and Shade Adu, a Nigerian British who took home the Grammy Award in 1986. Properties worth millions have been destroyed following a fire outbreak that grazed a filling station at Aule Axis along Ilesha Garage in Akure. Though no life was lost, eyewitnesses explained that the fire outbreak occurred when a tanker was offloading fuel. OSRC's Benga Oluwajano reports that residents of the area appealed to government to check arbitrary siting of petrol and gas stations at residential areas to avoid reoccurrence.
It came as a shock, the fire outbreak at a filling station at Awule Axis on Nagago Road in Akure, which left the residents bewildered and running for safety. Prompt intervention of the Ondo State Fire Service in collaboration with the youth of Awule community salvaged the situation. After long hours of water battle, the fire was put out, which brought a sign of relief to residents at the area. Eyewitnesses, including youths, said the fire outbreak took them by surprise.
So shocking. It was a total outbreak. Fire was almost fire took over the building, the optimal building. Fire took over, but we thank God with the help of God and the help of the firefighters and the help of the youth of the community. We really tried, especially the youth who joined the firefighters.
The Red Cross Society was also on ground to assist the firefighters and the youth to prevent the spread. Landlords and shop owners around the petrol station were full of praises to God that the fire did not claim any life. They, however, called on government to curb siting of petrol and gas stations at residential areas.
Many stations are not supposed to be between the community. They should be built outside the community. Please, for safety purpose, our safety is the most paramount thing to us.
The fire outbreak has come and gone, but it is an incident residents of our community will not forget in a haste. Benga Oluwajano, OSRC News.
That was quite unfortunate. Now on the foreign scene, a massive earthquake in Turkey near the border of northern Syria has killed hundreds of people and caused widespread destruction. The quake killed at least 2,000 people across both countries, toppling buildings and sending rescuers scrambling through the rubble to find survivors. The death toll is rising, with experts warning that aftershocks could continue for days or weeks. Tremors were also felt in Cyprus, Egypt and Lebanon. Pakistan's former President General Pervez Musharraf, who seized power in a coup in 1999, has died at the age of 79. The former leader, who was president between 2001 and 2008, died in the United Arab Emirates during a long illness. He left Pakistan for Dubai in 2016 to seek medical treatment and had been living in exile in the country ever since. Akintunde Akinshamala has details.
Pervez Musharraf, who ruled Pakistan for nearly a decade during the critical years of the American war against Al-Qaeda and the Taliban, died in a hospital in Dubai on Sunday. Musharraf, a former general who seized power in a bloodless coup in 1999, appeared alongside the American President George W. Bush less than a month after Al-Qaeda terrorists used jetliners to attack New York City and Washington and pledged himself as part of a coalition to defeat terrorist Islamists and the Afghan Taliban sheltering them.
Let me right away say that Pakistan has taken a considered decision to be a part of the coalition, to be with the United States, to fight terrorism in all its forms, wherever it exists.
He was credited with attracting foreign investments to Pakistan, which saw the strongest economic growth in nearly 30 years during his rule, and he enjoyed the support of the military as well as the Pakistanis who backed his crackdown against militant groups. Some Karachi residents spoke firmly of the former leader.
During his tenure, Pakistan was economically quite strong. There was employment in Pakistan. The poor people were employed, and essential items were cheap and affordable. Overall, Pakistan was quite stable economically and otherwise.
But his decade-long rule was also marred by a heavy-handed approach to dissent and the imposition of a 6-week-long state of emergency in which he suspended the constitution and censored the media. His political party lost a vote in 2008, facing impeachment by parliament. He resigned and fled to London. He returned to Pakistan in 2013 to run for a seat in parliament, but was immediately disqualified. He was allowed to leave for Dubai in 2016. His family said Musharraf was suffering from an organ disease called amyloidosis. He was admitted to hospital last year after he became critically ill. One of Musharraf's former military aides said he wished to be buried in Karachi, his family hometown, or in Rawalpindi, home to the army's headquarters. Akintunde Akinshemola for Osrc News.
And now to end the news at 7, let's take a quick look at the top major stories. Leader of the All Progressives Congress in Ondo State, Governor Oluwarotimi Akeredolu, has led the party to the Northern Central District to canvass votes for the next general elections. The Supreme Court has affirmed Ahmed Lawal, the authentic candidate of the Yobe North Central District in the February 25 elections. And from the foreign scene, more than 2,000 persons have died following a massive earthquake in Turkey and Syria. And that makes it a wrap on the news at 7. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.